I grab the brush, dip it in some water, put it in my mixing palette, and mix my colors. I'm not really thinking about which color, I'm just feeling what's right. And somehow it's almost automatic. You grab it and you place a brushstroke on your canvas. And this is super simple. Everyone can do it. But over time, I start forgetting that the one who is doing the action, it's me. Sometimes I'm just staring at as an object that captured my attention. Maybe the light that is hitting the object, the colors, the gesture of the people I'm watching, the beauty of it. Maybe that's a scene that I am seeing and it's sad, or it's some expression that I see in the world, some nature, and I capture it by doing this process over and over again. It might sound monotonous, it might sound boring, but at some point, after so many trials and errors, frustration, you start develop a sense and you can start talking in this language, visual language that is painting. When I'm looking at something and I try to paint the subject, as I said, I forget about who my mom is, who my dad is, who my brother is. Everyone just stopped existing in my brain. I forgot about me. I don't know who is painting that. I can only analyze this memory from the perspective of someone who is already out of the present and is just a memory of that moment. Each time I start painting and I have the lack of entering in this flow state, I just forget everything I have ever known and something start flowing inside me. I remember an author that says that he's not the author of the things he writes because there is so many people that he grabbed and inspired from them that the thing that he's writing is not possible for him just to do it himself. And in art, it's the same. Like, I have learned a lot of things from a lot of people, and it's basically the knowledge of the entire humanity that is passed through generations for me to be able to paint something. If I hadn't had my studies I wouldn't be able to talk properly. And it's the same with painting. If I didn't study, um, I would have been just painting random shapes and I couldn't communicate properly because random shapes can be art, right? You have Pollock, for example, but he has intention on it. And to have the intention and you have to have the capability of playing with the painting and communicating your feelings properly, you need to give it a thought. And it's a wonderful process. It's really hard to describe how it feels to paint something meditative, almost religious, I think. And I know that it might sound like something like hippie in a certain way, like, yeah, this guy is just saying, like, yeah, there is just like lying himself to make it more translucent or like more cool. But the experience of painting is the thing that I just described to you. I know that it's something more simpler than that in a materialistic world. Basically, you just grab a brush, dip in the paint, and paint. That's it. But there is more intellectual process behind it. And it's something that is so natural to us humans that we start doing it from a really young age. If you give a child a pen and paper, what is he going to do? He's going to start scratching it, and then at some point, when he gets bored about scratching things, he will just start drawing some slopes or doodles of things that he know represent his reality. And this goes beyond like ourselves. For example, if you think a stick man is made out of sticks, like it doesn't look like a human. We are not made of sticks. It's just an abstraction of our brain that has been shaped for thousands of years to simplify a human body as a stickman. And that's super interesting. And you can see this on the first paintings we did in caves. We didn't know that what was the anatomy of someone. we didn't, we haven't developed or understand anatomy. We just had blood or pigments that we found around, and we just place it and start drawing them on the wall. That's so curious. And we start telling stories about huntings and how this monster almost kill us, and you can have that represented on a wall. And that story is the same that the kids does when they are playing. Unfortunately, right now, if you are not aiming to be a professional artist, or even if you are, and it's something super difficult to have like this consistency when everyone around you is telling you that it's not worth it, art has no future, that's something just to get distracted, get a real job. There is a lot of things that we say to each other. And of course, it's come from love. Like, I don't think someone that is telling their kid not to be an artist is saying because they don't want the kid uh, to be happy. Or maybe yes, but I don't think it's the most of the cases. Usually, parents are worried about their kids not having a job or not making a living. So it's sad, really, because it's like telling someone, why would I teach you how to talk properly if you're not going to be an orator or someone who works by talking? Even though you are not someone that is 100% living out of like speaking, you can enjoy a good conversation with friends. And when we tell our kids to not be an artist, you are just eliminating one form of communication with of their life because art is expression. If you go to uh, science, for example, and you start seeing, oh yeah, like when you fall in love, you have this chemical reaction in your brain, and you get oxytocin, and then this process start happening, and it's basically like it interacts with your brain like a drug. And yeah, of course, it's science, it's a fact, right? But when you are in love with someone, you just felt something so intense that it's barely capable of describe, or it's barely, you barely know how to speak properly. It's hard even for me to try to speak it through words. But if you read a poem, for example, you will catch how the author express his feelings or her feelings. If someone
Uh,
says to you, being with you is it feels like I'm frozen in time and everything that surrounds us doesn't exist, and I'm just absorbed by this moment and I feel butterflies in my stomach. There is some divinity on it. And it's amazing that we can feel this way. We will describe it as love, and there is not like actual butterflies in our stomach, of course. They'll be impressive. But we can understand each other. And it's more accurate than saying that, oh yeah, my frontal lobe is starting to develop and segregate some oxytocin and blah 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 blah. Of course, don't take me on that. I haven't did done a research properly of how the interaction of chemistry work in your brain, but yeah, I know that you need some oxytocin and melatonin. Well, melatonin is for, well, you get me. You get what I mean. But yeah, so art is something that we experience and it's hard to describe as an artist and communicate how I feel about the art I do. When I'm doing it, I just forget about myself. That's something that for once in life I wish everyone could experience. You don't need to be an artist to do this or to feel this way. If you start counting money or doing a repetitive task in which you can improve on, you can start developing this muscle memory and get into this same stage, right? Maybe you are not aware of it, but usually it represents and it feels the same for everyone. You forgot the time because are just focused 100% in the present, and it's something almost magical. So yeah, basically, I'm sad about the society because it doesn't made for us to be happy. It's just it's made for you to be productive, right? And I'm not saying this like in a in a from a perspective of like, oh yeah, this doesn't affect me. Like, of course, I am trapped in the same thing that you are. I have the same chains. Of course, I'm trying to make a bubble, basically, to just let society permeate into me the amount of it that I want to. I want also create social impact on society. For example, when you are watching reels on Instagram or watching reels on TikTok or Reddit, it's so curious how every social media look the same because everyone's wants to be like the most efficient to capture your attention, that everything is turning into the same, but with a different color, basically, and setup. And you can get lost easily in this world by just experiencing less and less real stuff. One of the reasons I stopped doing digital art is because I felt like I would be doing the same job that someone in an office does. And I entered into the art because I wanted to avoid doing an office job from 8 to 9 or something like that, or 8 hours straight, right? And I wanted to do the things that really matters to me. And I think doing this project is because I really feel I can say something valuable to the world. And by doing the paintings, I want to ab abdicate for people to stop watching social media and start seeing the reality. Sometimes when I finish a painting, the perfectionism hits and I start seeing so many errors that I have on my paintings, perspective, some colors, shapes, things and areas where I could improve, that I am so hard on myself that I forgot to enjoy the painting, right? And I have a small painting I did on my desktop, and each time I'm seeing it, there is a new thing to review. And if I get closer to the painting, as it's something real, you start seeing a fractal complexity on it. Because you can start getting closer and closer, and you're going to be seeing like random shapes that I didn't intend to be there, but it has some beauty on this chaos. And if you're seeing your phone and you're just scrolling, you have like what? 8 seconds, five, three, to get captivated by the image you are seeing, that you cannot experience and contemplate the reality. I think that's a little bit sad. So yeah, it's great to have this anchor to reality beside me because this way I can see everything and enjoy my paintings again. I don't know how to describe it. Of course, it's not the same as when I'm doing it, but I'm enjoying the painting. And I have one of them like right in the desktop, and it's weird because you can it's an object, right? And it's just some pigments and wood, but makes us feel different. So I don't know how it works. I cannot explain the how the brain interacts with everything, but I know that it's produced something that feels good inside me. And I think that's the most important part of it. Of course, you can, don't need a painting. You can watch outside your window, and if you have the fortune of having trees around you, you can observe this in nature as well. But if you are trapped on a city that is conquered by the concrete and there is no trees or nature around you, first of all, sorry for you. I wish you could be in a more friendly environment. And second of it, you still have the sky to look at, which is something beautiful. And if you have the fortune of staring at it for a while, you are going to realize how cool is it to just feel things and feeling yourself existing. So, yeah, basically, I wanted to capture the feeling of creating something, the flow state, how you can get captivated by nature or art, and why is art so important in our lives. So, yeah, thank you for listening. This is the first episode. Now you can go by now. You don't need to listen to everything, but I'm just going to overthink a little bit, okay? So, yeah, this is something that I'm really excited about. I usually type a lot. This could be perfectly an audio that I send to a friend, like 20 minutes talking to someone. I have spent like 2 hours talking to someone. So this is like super natural to me. And yeah, thank you for listening a lot. If you have any comment or any question, please free to reach out to me. You have my Instagram and my everything, my email, everything. So yeah, follow me on Instagram and any other social media. Uh, I'll let it in the description. Like yeah. Uh, and yeah, thank you. It's wild that you can do this. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, maybe none. But I just really want to express myself and I hope I can help someone with this. So yeah, I hope you can enjoy more the present and I will talk a lot about philosophy and more about this topic in general because it has a lot to it. I really liked the Taoism, not as religion, but more as a philosophy. And there's a lot of things that I mix from art to economy to this. And I'll try to do these monologues to clear my mind and also to express how I feel and how it feels for me to exist. So, yeah, thank you so much again, and see you next time.